really reliable recall is taught using positive reinforcement to shape behavior. In order to be successful using positive reinforcement, there are 3 elements that must be in place. The first element is called management. And the definition we're going to use for management is to plan ahead to set up for success. I'll get back to management in just a second, but first of all, let's talk about the second element, which is relationship, and relationship built on trust and cooperation. If you have those 2 elements, good management and a strong relationship built on trust and cooperation, the third part, training, is actually the easy part. So to begin with, we're going to start talking about management. That's planning ahead to set up for success. What that means is just about anything you do with your dog to help him be successful with the recall that isn't actually training would come under the heading of management. So number 1, management for the recall would mean making sure that your dog gets plenty of exercise, both physical exercise and mental exercise. Especially if you're doing this with a young dog, they have huge physical exercise needs, and if they don't get physical exercise that you provide, they will certainly take any opportunity to provide it for themselves if they get a chance to be off leash. All dogs need mental stimulation. They need games to do and things that keep them active and mentally stimulated. So any kind of games that you play with your dog that gets them to think. One of the best things you can teach your dog is retrieving games. Dogs that are invested in retrieving are much more apt to work with you and stay with you and are much less inclined to run off. Second management area that I would think about is making sure that your dog gets as much off-leash activity and as much off-leash time as possible. And many of you may be shaking your head and say, well, I can't let my dog get off-leash because he'll run away. The easiest way to start this, obviously, is with a young puppy. Young puppies tend to be quite bonded to their family and don't usually stray very far away, so that's a fabulous time to start off-leash behavior in areas that are safe, either fenced areas or larger areas that are safe away from roads or whatever. If you have an older dog who you've either rescued as an adult or you have had frustration so far training and you're afraid to take them off leash, it's a little bit more of an adventure. You have to find places where you can take the dog, borrow neighbors' yards, rent their yards if you have to, find enclosed areas. And a third thing that you can do with an older dog or the more independent puppies is instead of having them totally off leash, let them have what we call a long line, a trailer, a drag line, something that we kind of think of as an umbilical cord that connects you to the dog, but they're not on a leash, they don't have the tension of a leash, but they're actually dragging a line.
A drag line is something that you attach to your dog's collar. It makes you feel safer as an owner, that you're not going to lose your dog, and it gives your dog a little reminder of your connection to him while he's running free. Make sure your dog has a flat collar, not a prong collar or choke collar. Tie some knots in the line every few feet.